What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Um, Feeling under weather today. Under the weather. Not feeling too hot. But I wanted to talk about today. Talk about something that's going on today. As you know, the voter polls are open, and we've seen an increase in the ramp up of basically celebrities and everybody out there trying to encourage people to vote, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I've seen a number of successful black entertainers and musicians and whatnot out there trying to educate people, getting them to get out there and at least cast a vote. But when I look at voting as a whole, it's kind of like one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't topics. It's an action is that fits that narrative. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm not going to tell anybody that they should or shouldn't vote. But what I will say is that if you look at the history of voting in this country, it's easy to surmise that for black people in general, African Americans, whatever you want to call them, matter of fact, that term African American to me is so fucked up in the first place. What other group of people call themselves something Americans? Do you see white people calling themselves Caucasian Americans? Do people in Brazil call themselves Brazilian South Americans? Do people in Chile call themselves Chilean South Americans? Do Hispanics from Mexico call themselves Mexican Americans? Like, no. Black people are the only ones in this country that have the label African Americans. Just can't be an American. More on that later. Anyway, not going to say it's right if you vote or not. All I'm going to tell you is if you look at the history of voting in this country, all the presidents, all the leaders that we've had for this country that have run this country since its inception, all were picked most of the leadership in this country was picked without your vote. And we've been here since the inception. So I want you to I want that to sink in for a little bit and think about what I just said. We've been here since the inception of this country, and our vote has never counted. I don't know what's going to make you think anything different. I don't know what's going to make you think anything will change. But I can guarantee you that nothing will change. And as I'm speaking towards the benefit of our people in this country, nothing is going to change for us unless we decide to change it for us. Voting, in my opinion, is not going to change our reality in this country because the powers that control the country are more powerful than any vote. Even if everybody went out and voted for one candidate today, that candidate would be powerless once they are actually put in the seat of or the position of power to represent us. Because the power is not in the vote. The power is not really in the person you're voting for. The power is basically in the people who sit in the seats already of where that person is being elected to. You're electing a person to sit on seats and share power with others who have already been established of sharing that kind of power. They have to fit in. So there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that they're going to be able to do once they get in there to really exercise what they want to do. They pretty much gotta play the game and sit and wait. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really a false sense of accomplishment. So you can go out there and vote if you would like. I just want you to realize that your vote has never counted. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we voted for Obama and look, he got in there. And again, I'll ask you again, what did Obama do for you in the black community? As far as I'm concerned, Obama was a great president, good president. Glad to see that he graced the office, changed the perception of who could sit in that seat. And I'm glad he was there. Glad he had the opportunity to get there. But he did nothing for black people. He did nothing to really upset the balance of power in this country. A lot of people will say, well, all he did was, apologize to the Middle East or whatever. He did a lot for gay people, the LGBTQ, is it LGBTQT or, he did a lot for them. To me, mainly what he did concerning black people was he surrounded himself or he associated with a lot of black entertainment figures, people that are very successful in the entertainment industry, the music industry, movies, sports. He was very open about supporting those type of people. Every time you saw him, he was dancing, having a good time, or you know what I mean. He definitely liked surrounding himself with black people. There's nothing wrong with that, and I love it. But that was pretty much the extent of his generosity. He had no real intention of really trying to fix things for the blacks in the black community. So you go out and vote if you want to. You go out and put your vote into one of these candidates who are going to tell you once again that they're going to be for you, by you, and not against you. You go ahead and do that. But nothing is really going to change. Black people in this country have been waiting for a long time, waiting for somebody to save them, for somebody to give them justice, for somebody to grant them equality, for someone to usher in a new way of life. And yet they're still waiting. Yet we are still waiting. But we'll be waiting for a long, long time. In the country, the people who run the country hope that we continue to wait. They want you to wait for a savior. We've had plenty of them in our midst that have come and gone, and we didn't pay them any attention. You see, black people here in this country, we want somebody to do a magic trick to save us. Like a magic trick. Snap the fingers, boom. Changed. But black people here in the country are used to waiting on others, used to waiting on the government, the people who still control them to do something for them. They're not going to do anything for you. It's not their place to do anything for you, and they have no intentions on doing anything for you. You have to do for yourself. If we want new schools, we have to build our own new schools. And I'm not talking about charter schools are a good start, but charter schools are still run by the government, state government. So in the end, you're giving them the control again. So start your own schools. Support your own schools. Get together. Start building for yourself. Schools, jobs, all these things that we could be doing for ourselves, but we choose not to. Again, black people are looking for an easy way out. They want change in the form of a vote. They don't want change in the form of actually doing, creating, making. It's easier to just cast a vote than to actually put the work in. See, we want somebody else to do the work, but we're not willing to do it for ourselves. And that's what's never changed in this country. And like I said, black people are still waiting on a white Jesus to save them, to come back. They're still waiting on the white man, and I'm not saying white people. When I say the white man, I'm saying the people who still hold prejudice and injustice against us. We're still waiting on the people who hate us the most, the people who endorse violence against us, who keep us in degradation, who don't want to see us rise in any form or to hold any kind of power in this country. Those are the white people I'm talking about. We're still waiting on them to actually turn around and give us a handout. Turn around and say, you know what? We're so sorry. We want to elevate you now to the spot that you're actually supposed to be in. We're waiting on that. Still waiting on that. Instead of doing for yourself. It's pretty sad, but hey, we have to talk about it. So, while this is a glorious day, make sure you go out there and vote if you so choose. Again, voting is a powerful method to bring about change. But when you're voting for people who really don't care about your situation, when you're voting for people who don't look like you, when you're voting for people who could care less about your conditions, what do you expect to gain after you vote? These are things you got to think about. It's very, very important that we are collectively on the same page. But don't get scammed. Don't get caught up in this whole scam, I would call it, to going out and voting for something you have no idea about. Do not go out and cast your vote for somebody who doesn't know truly about you. That's all I got to say about it. Let's talk about it. Leave your comments, questions, statements, bitches, complaints below in the comment section. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.